This video here is going to be absolutely nuts. We have spent crazy dollars in ads, in trying to beat the iOS 14 update. We have spent a lot of different campaigns, creatives, things that worked, things that didn't work. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly this one weird hack that we did. It's super simple, and why this one hack changed everything for us, and it changed losing campaigns to winning ones. It took winning campaigns that was doing pretty okay to a whole new level, and I was absolutely shocked. Okay, and by the end of this video, you'll be able to see exactly why this iOS 14 update could be the worst of times for some marketers, but it could also be the best of times if you understood this one thing. So what is this one thing all about? Well, today I'm going to be showing you behind the scenes to some ad campaigns that we did together with the funnels as well as the numbers. So let's begin. Okay, so for the longest time, it was very normal to run ads directly to a sales funnel. Okay, so let me give you an example. So for example, this webinar funnel over here was a webinar funnel, something I've been doing since, 2015, and what would be the typical setup? The typical setup is we run ads and just send people to the sales funnel that does the heavy lifting. Right now, this could be a webinar funnel, this could be a low ticket funnel, this could be a free plus shipping funnel. And with this iOS 14 update, what happened was it kind of messed everything up. It was very common that marketers started seeing the cost per lead, the cost per webinar registrant to go up double or even 3 times after the iOS 14 update. And I had campaigns where it was profitable for like years, and literally overnight things became unprofitable. So what we did was we, as always, I always talk about how the people that would pivot and adjust rather than complain and cry would be the ultimate winners, right? This is literally survival of the fittest. So what do we do differently? Now I want to be able to walk you through and back it up with some actual numbers. So literally, this over here is stats from last week. You can see like this literally happened last week from August the 1st to the 7th of August. And you can see here, I've put here campaign name contains OGP. So meaning OGP stands for this funnel, which is one good pitch. Okay, now the purpose is not about this funnel, but to show you exactly what this one hack is so that you understand why. Okay, so what we did was in that span of 1 week for this specific campaign, we spent about $28,000 to really confirm that suspicion of mine on whether this one hack would make that much of a difference. I know some of you that's watching this, if you're new to this channel, you'll be thinking, well, Peng Joon, what is the hack, right? Stop teasing us. Wait, we'll get there in a second. We gotta understand like the why first, okay? So notice that one of the things that we did is, if you take a look at this column, which is probably the most important column, it's like the cost per result, right? Now, what is a result? A result, depending on the funnel, could be the cost of a lead, it could be the cost of a phone call, the cost of a sale, which is usually the most common objective, or the cost of a webinar registrant, right? So depending on your funnel. So if you take a look at this, you could see that for these specific campaigns, all right, all for one good pitch, you can see that the cost per result for like a US audience, it could cost us about like $57 to get a webinar registrant. Now this webinar just ended, and that's why the campaigns are off right now. It just ended like 3 days ago. But if you take a look at this is how much we would be paying to get a webinar registrant. Now, why did we still leave it running? Because it's still profitable for us to do so, but not as profitable as this new thing I'm about to show you, right? So this is the typical way of doing things, right? We would run ads, we would monitor how much does it cost to get a webinar registrant, we will understand what would be our percentage of people showing up and our typical close rate, and that would decide, how profitable the campaign is. But because we're always testing, here's what we did. What we did was we added a few extra steps to the funnel. Now, what do we do? Let me show you a few different funnels. So for example, this is for one good pitch. On this funnel, here's what I'd like you to notice. Okay, we added this specific step. So this specific step over here is an opt-in page. It's like, what? Right, so an opt-in page is probably like the most basic funnels of all funnel types, right? So you can see here, let me just kind of zoom out so you can see the numbers over here. So you can see that I had approximately 7,600 unique visitors to this opt-in page. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And approximately 32.38% of people would give me their name and email. So instead of sending people to the webinar, we send them to this page instead. So what is it? It is the typical opt-in page where you bribe somebody to give you their email in exchange for this free gift, right? So over here we said, one good pitch, copy little known secrets to selling online, influencing the decision and closing the deal, right? So bullet points, right? It feels like an overkill, right? Typically just this might be a good enough starting point if you're just getting started. But, the way I do things like to overkill. So I've got an entire full-fledged long-form copy showing people why they need to opt in to get this. Okay, so once they opt in, we not only give them this free gift, but notice on the next page, the thank you page is a page that gets them to register for this upcoming webinar, right? So rather than sending them straight to the webinar, we send them to this free gift first, and after they get the free gift, on the following page, a very simple video that says, congratulations for opting in. As promised, here's your gift. And in the meantime, if you want to take things deeper, I would highly recommend you watch this video. So click on this link, and then after they do that, they would be taken to the webinar. Now, here's what happens. What you'll notice is that out of the people that opt in, okay, so about 2,400 people that opted in, about half of them, 49%, which is about 1,134 people, about half of the people would actually go register for the webinar. And that's pretty insane, okay? Now, what does this mean? Let's take a few different examples, okay? Let's do an apple-to-apple comparison, because obviously, depending on a person's location and country, naturally, first world country audiences will be more expensive than a developing or third world country. We'll do a few different countries, okay? Let's take Singapore. So you can see, like, Singapore, cost per webinar registrant is $34, which is high, but it's still profitable for us, so we still leave it running. However, notice that over here, it says here, this is per lead, right? Our cost per result, you take a look at this. So per lead cost us $4.70. Where else, if we sent people straight to the webinar, it cost us $35, right? So notice, okay, apple-to-apple comparison. $4.70 for a lead, $34 for a webinar registrant. Okay, so let's go over to the whiteboard for a second so that you understand, exactly what's happening over here. Okay, so remember these two numbers? Let me just put these two numbers down. Okay, $34 and whatever, right? Let's call it $5. Okay. So you'll notice that here's the old way, right? The old way, what will happen is you run ads straight to the funnel. Now this doesn't need to be a webinar funnel, right? Sometimes people think, oh, this doesn't work for, it's not just about webinar funnels, it's any funnel, right? It could be a low ticket funnel, it could be a high ticket funnel, it could be an application funnel, it could be a challenge funnel, it could be a virtual event funnel. This happens to be a webinar funnel. Okay, so now the old way is to run ads straight to the funnel, and this is where we would see $34 to get a lead or a webinar registrant, right? So $34 is the cost of a webinar registrant. However, notice what we did differently, right? This is an apple-to-apple comparison. So same country, right? And we'll show you for different countries as well. What happened was, instead of sending people straight to the webinar, we added one extra step. And the extra step wasn't after, the extra step is what happens before. And in fact, there are two steps that happens before. So the two steps over here is literally a opt-in funnel where we give away this free gift for a person to opt in. And after they opt in, there will be a thank you page that says, congratulations, here as promised, here's the gift. And if you want to be able to take things further, I would highly recommend join us for and watch this video, right? So to get them to register. Now, what we're doing right now is because we are getting $5, this is for a lead, cost per lead, CPL, is $5. Notice what's happening. What are the odds of somebody that opts in registering for a webinar? It was about 49%. So that means 1 in every 2 people, for this specific example, it means that my cost per webinar registrant now, because 1 in every 2 is registering for my webinar, this means that my cost per registrant, right, is $10, give or take. So I have decreased my ad cost by 3 times, 66%, give or take, But if you think about that, that's not all. Why? Because not only is my cost per registrant decreased from $34 to $10, but remember, I am also getting more leads because of this step over here, this extra step, this opt-in step. So for that reason, this means that I'm getting more leads. I've successfully decreased my cost per webinar registrant. And this hack here that's being replicated across all funnels. And when I saw this, like, I was ecstatic. There's like light at the end of the tunnel. And that's why we rolled out like a dozen of these different opt-in funnels for all of our funnels. Now, if you want to be able to see the results of my other funnels, whether it's my challenge funnels, whether it's my virtual event funnels, I'm going to be doing a virtual event this weekend. So when this weekend is over, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what happens. So by the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, first of all, do me a favor, smash the like button. This helps the channel out. But make sure you subscribe and switch on the bell notification so that the moment this video and when the event ends, I'll be able to keep you updated on what actually happens. And if you want the latest stuff, you want to make sure you switch on the bell notification. So that being said, end of commercial break. Coming back to this example, right? So you're going to be able to see why this hack here is highly applicable for all funnel types. So coming back to this example again, you will see that we literally rolled this out for all funnels. Okay, we rolled it out for our virtual event funnel. So rather than sending people straight to my virtual event funnel over here, which is what we did for a really long time, right? This is for virtual event codex. What do we do? Same thing here. We send people to an opt-in page. Now, why an opt-in page? I want you to understand the why. It is because a sale is a much deeper conversion than a lead. And because of the iOS 14 update, if you understand the why, it's like audiences shrank, people are opting out of being tracked. And for that reason, it's harder for the pixel to trigger. So what we are essentially doing, if you want to understand like the technicalities of the why, which is important, we are making a shallower conversion and we're making it easier for the pixel to fire. Does that make sense? So before we send people to the funnel, we send people an opt-in first, and again, after they opt-in for this free book, so notice, so this is like the virtual event codex checklist. Rather than sending people straight to the event, we're sending people to a checklist first, so that if they want to be able to get this freebie, they will opt in. And after they opt in, same thing here, on the following page, we deliver the thing, and then we invite them to join us on this page. So we are rolling this out for like all of our funnels, our low ticket funnels, our high ticket funnels. You can see like this is the business builder workshop. This is a funnel that has done, let's see, it's done well over $1 million. And you can see like for this business builder workshop in the first $1 million that we did, same thing here, which is a lot of different funnel steps. But ultimately you will see that like the opt-in, the numbers, same thing here, right? It's like the opt-in rates, pretty insane. So you'll see that the opt-in stats, right, with long form copy. So this is short form, but if you want long form, right, we've already done all the split testing for you. Long form has out-converted short form consistently. And based on this, you will see that opts in at about 50%. And you can see opt-in webinar registration is pretty insane, right? It's like out of 15,000 people that opted in, about 13,000 people would actually opt in for like the webinar. So these are even crazier numbers. And if you were to take a look at the stats, same thing over here. We covered Singapore earlier, right? Now, if you were to take other countries, it's the same thing, right? So like US and Canada, right, which is $57, right? If you take a look at any other country, okay, US or worldwide, okay, let's take a few different examples. Let's do an apple-to-apple comparison. So worldwide cost per lead, 55 cents, but worldwide, for a webinar registrant, worldwide is 167, and for a lead, it's 55 cents. So what does that tell us again? It tells us, okay, so back to the drawing board, back to the whiteboard, you'll see the same thing happening, right? So that was for Singapore earlier. Worldwide right now, what is our cost per webinar registrant if we were to send direct? Okay, so worldwide audience, it's 150, but if it's a lead first, right, it would be 55 cents. So again, based on the funnel that you saw earlier, what is the percentage of people that opt in that ends up going to a webinar? About half. So that means my cost per webinar registrant, if we were to double this, is only about $1.10, which is about, 25 to 50% less. But again, that's not all, right? It's not just about decreasing the cost per lead, therefore decreasing the cost to acquire a customer or a sale, but we're also getting more opt-ins, double the amount of opt-ins, and building a list twice as fast. Does that make sense? And you will see that this applies in pretty much every country, right? If we were to go back to this over here, you will see that the same thing is happening, right, in the US. Now, of course, depending on what market or niche or industry you're in, your cost per result could be higher or lower. If you're in a financial market, it would be higher. If you are in a market that's not related to money, naturally the number would be lower, right? So you'll see that, and of course there are many different campaigns. Campaigns matter. Sometimes if it's retargeting, it would be lower. If it's just cold audiences and if it's not warm, it could be higher as well. But from a big picture perspective, right, you'll see cost per lead, US, approximately $17. But if it's direct to webinar, $57, right? So again, you will see that our cost has decreased about 3 times, right? $57 as opposed to $17.49. So what does this mean for you? In summary, if you want to be able to get an unfair advantage, number 1, smash the subscribe button so that you'll be notified whenever we drop a new video. Like, I so wish I could have paid somebody $100,000 a few months ago to tell me this, because this would have made a huge difference in, especially if you're trying to scale ads, like decreasing it by 50% could be the difference between a losing campaign and a winning campaign. So right now, that's why we are rolling this out for all of our different funnels. Not just webinar funnels. I actually have an alarm that just came on because this means that I've got a call coming up in 5 minutes. So this is where I guess I'll end today's video. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below your biggest takeaway, what it is that you're committed to doing. Any questions you might have, let me know in the chat as well. And if you truly enjoyed this video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so that when I drop the next one, where I'm going to reveal to you exactly other hacks that you can utilize to decrease your ad costs, reduce your cost to acquire a customer, and scale your ad campaigns, you'll be notified when you subscribe. Hey, this is Peng Joon here. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.